next morning, after enjoying a full night's sleep, Bamud awoke feeling strangely unsettled. I couldn't find it, he murmured to himself. Despite his reluctance to get involved with her, the woman always beside him was Lia Sealights. Is my spirit really this weak, he wondered. No matter how hard I try, I only seem able to fall asleep next to her. But there was no time to dwell. Another issue had arrived, one far more urgent. Your Majesty, a close aide reported, we've received letters from the south requesting the expansion of maritime trade. Before this pressing concern, Bamud's mind grew muddled. He couldn't handle this problem alone, not without her. This matter should be discussed with Duke Celeste, he said, half thinking aloud. He'll decide on the treatment of prisoners. His thoughts were spinning, funding recovery efforts, prisoner policies, economic implications. And then, as if summoned by fate, that familiar sweet voice cut through the storm in his head. Your Majesty, have you had breakfast yet? Another beautiful morning, another unexpected visit from Lia Sealights. Please, she continued brightly, have lunch with me. Seeing her cheerful face, Bamud blinked in surprise. The Queen, isn't she angry? Nevertheless, the two entered the dining room and sat across from one another. Silence loomed between them. The awkwardness was thick. Unable to bear it, Lia finally asked, why are you always so silent? But she didn't realize the reason for his silence was her. He just wanted to hear her voice more. Bamud had been guarding his words carefully, terrified of saying something wrong, of hurting her. I'll stop asking about the men who left the harem, he reminded himself. That's why I must choose my words wisely. His heart was a storm of contradictions, and he didn't know what to do with all the emotions swirling inside. Another morning passed, and Sion returned to his mountain of paperwork. The palace air grew thick with tension. No matter how hard he tried to focus, Lia's face kept appearing in his mind. Even if I've sobered up, he admitted to himself, I still can't concentrate because of that woman. He rose from his chair with resolve. Sitting idly wasn't helping. He needed answers. I'll go ask her directly. Too many questions about Lia Sealights clouded his thoughts. Why did she start paying attention to me? What are her true intentions? I will go to the Queen's palace, he ordered. Where is she? Standing before Luren, his tone was cold and demanding. She said she was in the harem. Your Majesty, Luren stammered. She said it was urgent. That answer gave him pause. The harem? After taking care of me so sincerely, she's suddenly gone there. A dangerous idea crossed his mind. Try this, Your Majesty, echoed the memory of her gentle voice. Have some snacks. Lie down. You must be tired today. Is she mocking me? He thought bitterly. Was she simply tired of him now? Was she seeking pleasure elsewhere? He didn't want to admit it, but his insecurities distorted her intentions. Her absence grew into suspicion, and the suspicion grew into hurt. She's just a scheming girl, he told himself, approaching me for her family's benefit. The daughter of Duke Celeste. There's no way she came to me without an agenda. What Bamud had always longed for was simple, warmth, human connection. But years of pain and self-imposed isolation had locked his heart away. Someone like me, I can't long for those things anymore. Still, as he turned to leave, a small part of him whispered, then why does it hurt when she's not around? Meanwhile, Lia Sealights had just finalized her support agreement with Leo Castle. Okay, she said decisively, let's do it. She would financially back him in exchange for 2 years of service as her personal pharmacist. It was a smart move, but she had one condition. If you pass the safety stage, she added, I'll fund your tuition at the Imperial Academy. Leo had seemed hesitant at first, but eventually he agreed, and for the first time in a while, Lia found someone she could actually trust. All the other men I've met only know how to flatter, she thought, but not him. She had a good feeling about Leo Castle from the beginning. There was no calculation in his eyes, only pure passion for learning. If he hasn't been bribed, then I need to recruit him first. I'll do it, Leo had said, as your private pharmacist. Lia's next words made him flinch. What kind of medicine do you want? A tonic, he ventured. Immortality medicine, she replied half-jokingly. Of course, that's not real. Then her expression turned serious. But I do need you to research poison. That request silenced Leo completely. After a moment of thought, Leo Castle finally spoke. He had to be sure. Excuse me, he asked cautiously, but may I know the purpose of using poison? Lia could already tell what he was thinking, but the moment she explained her reason, his demeanor changed completely. I don't know when I'll be poisoned, she said honestly, so I want to prepare an antidote in advance. Oh, I understand. Can you not agree so easily? She muttered, half exasperated, half amused. Without further delay, the two signed a mutual agreement while the conversation was still fresh. But Leo, ever cautious, added a condition. This kind of research could easily be misunderstood. I need a guarantee that my life will be protected during this time. Certainly, Lia replied. From now on, our survival is linked. I won't betray you. Only then did he untie the headband he wore as a sign of commitment. Very well, he said. Leo Castle had worked hard to earn his education, and he was not one to be taken lightly. He eyed her and gave a quiet warning. If the Emperor tries to cancel this agreement again, I'll report your poison research orders to the Academy and the press. I have some connections. Lia shuddered at how thorough he was. He's so careful. I can't afford to lose this guy. She placed her hand on the agreement and reaffirmed her promise. Okay, I won't kick you out, but you'd better not go anywhere else either. Or forget the tuition. I'll send you straight to the underground prison for deceiving the Queen. She smiled as she warned him. You know how cruel I can be. Of course. From now on, I will serve with absolute loyalty, Your Majesty. Everything progressed quickly from there. So, let me explain the plan now, she began. Leo Castle, as expected of a top student, immediately offered a deeper insight. I understand you want to survive, but is that all? You do realize that antidotes aren't miracle cures, right? He grew serious. They can neutralize toxins in the body, but they can't reverse permanent damage already caused. Organ damage can't be undone. What are you trying to say? If you truly want to stay healthy, you need to increase your resistance. You have to condition your body. To what? To toxins, he said bluntly. What? You want me to consume poison? You need to train your body to tolerate small doses so that when it really matters, the antidote can work fast enough. Leo spoke with full sincerity. I'll carefully assess your condition and prescribe the lowest possible doses, nothing that would seriously harm you. Then, he added, if you don't trust me, I'll try them myself. myself first. Leah was stunned. His dedication was overwhelming. If I kick him out, it'll be a disaster. This passion is amazing. Then Leo brought up another issue. If we buy poisonous herbs from the market, rumors will spread. It's better to grow them ourselves in the Queen's herb garden. I have some seeds ready. Leah hadn't expected him to be this thorough, all for the sake of research. Poison and medicine, two sides of the same coin. This might spiral into something huge. Feeling a headache coming on, she considered the logistics. We'll need discreet servants, she muttered. People who won't talk. An idea struck her. What about the ones clinging to the palace pillars outside? They're desperate and refuse to leave. If I let them stay in exchange for silence, they'll agree. After a moment's thought, she smiled. That's a good idea. They won't demand high salaries either. I'll have them start cultivating the land today. Leo was surprised by her practicality. Are you managing the palace finances now, Your Majesty? Economical, aren't I? She said with a smirk. He hadn't expected her to be saving money by transferring him. Oh, should I be more economical? He looked genuinely impressed. Your quick wit is truly limitless. Leah chuckled. You should have realized my brilliance sooner. Yes, of course. Please forgive me for not recognizing your intelligence earlier. Better be careful next time. She raised her teacup with pride. A toast to loyal doctors, talented pharmacists, and a future without poison. Back in Sion Bamud's office the next morning, the sound of a snap filled the room. He had broken another pen. The tension in the room was unbearable. The ministers sat in silence, too terrified to breathe. That's the 12th pen today, one of them muttered under their breath. A tray full of broken pens sat at his desk. No one dared to ask what was wrong. Suddenly, the door creaked open. Your Majesty, came Leah's soft voice. Let's go have breakfast. Without hesitation, Sion Bamud stood and walked to her, like he had been waiting for her all morning. And just like that, the room exhaled. The air lightened. Peace returned. No more snapping pens. The ministers nearly wept with relief. We survived, someone whispered. Before her arrival, everyone had been green with anxiety. Sion's strange mood swings had made them fear for their lives. Didn't he seem okay for a while? One murmured. Why is he suddenly so sensitive again? Then, the realization hit them all at once. Wait a second. It's calmer when the Queen is around. Yes, they eat together every day. Everyone's hearts were in turmoil. What happened between the Emperor and the Queen? Whatever it is, someone said, please let it continue. For our sake. Meanwhile, Sion Bamud followed her again, unable to resist her voice. A gentle, sweet voice. It draws me in. He didn't mean to. It was unconscious. But he always found himself trailing after her. I can't keep pretending anymore, he thought. I just want to hear her voice. And with that, he followed her out of the room once again. As Sion Bamud walked quietly behind Leah Sealights, a wave of memories washed over him. He remembered those nights, each one the same, when she greeted him with a soft smile, no matter how late it was, as if she'd been waiting for him. Even in the quiet of night, she welcomed him gently, as if haunted by a memory only she understood. Every night, he found himself lying next to her, listening to the sound of her voice as she told stories to lull him to sleep. Somehow, before he'd even realized it, he had ended up in the Queen's room again and again. And gradually, something changed. He no longer felt shy or uneasy around her. When had this all become so natural? His heart twisted in confusion. Unless, is she playing with me? How did it come to this? But Leah had noticed too. He's staring again, she thought, feeling his gaze burning into the back of her head. It's like he's trying to drill a hole through me. Though their relationship had grown closer, an uneasiness stirred in her heart. We've lived peacefully for a while. So what's wrong now? They sat across from each other at the dining table. Sion Bamud remained silent, saying nothing. Leah felt the chill in the air. I thought we were finally close, but now he's gone quiet again. On the outside, he seemed cold, but inside, he cared. He made sure she was eating well, sleeping properly. He even cooked for her sometimes. And yet, here he was, unable to speak a word. No, she reminded herself. I can't jump to conclusions. If this were easy, it would have followed the original script. She understood the kind of emotional cage Sion Bamud had lived in. He had locked his feelings away for years. So now, she didn't want to pressure him. She would be patient. She looked at him with soft eyes and said, if I ever do something that upsets you, please tell me. I want us to understand each other better. But Bamud, as closed off as ever, simply muttered, it's nothing. Leah couldn't hide her frustration. Your Majesty, you keep glaring at me like that. She tried to lighten the mood, playing the part of someone vulnerable to soften him. If you keep looking at me like that, I'll get scared, she said playfully. But in Sion Bamud's mind, that statement was oddly amusing. Scared, he thought. She's quite bold for someone who claims to be scared. She's sitting right across from me, confronting me head on. Watching her talk non-stop while he sat silent, he felt something stir again. She suddenly asked, are you angry with me? Angry? He blinked. Not really. She smiled gently and said, then relax a little. You look much softer when you do. He watched her face, so sincere and radiant. That strange, stirring feeling returned, but then he shattered her heart with his next words. Don't worry about my business. Leah's smile faded like a flower wilting in sudden frost. I thought my efforts were finally reaching him, but he's still shutting me out. Why? Sion noticed the sadness in her eyes. It made him pause. If she was just playing with me, why would she look so hurt? He began to question everything. What if I've misunderstood her all along? She had only said she was going to the harem. Now he realized it didn't necessarily mean she went to meet someone. Maybe she'd gone to remove the remaining members and clean things up. That would make more sense. I've been overthinking everything. He sighed to himself. Visiting the sealed harem can't be called mockery. I made a big deal out of something simple. Sensing the tension, Leah forced a gentle smile. Seeing you relaxed makes me happy. And her soft smile worked. Bamud relaxed slightly. The cold expression faded. A real smile appeared. He realized then that clear thoughts came more easily when he had enough sleep, and Leah had been ensuring exactly that. My father-in-law is cunning. He probably doesn't want me to be in good shape, but this girl, she wants me to be well. Truly. The contradiction left a question echoing in his chest. Why, Queen, why do you care so much about me? Just then, Lurin knocked on the door. Your Majesty, it's the head maid, Lurin. May I enter? Come in. Bamud immediately questioned her. Did you make an excuse to get the Queen away earlier? Yes, Your Majesty. Majesty, I used the excuse of training the servants. He nodded. Good. Be direct. As Leah's closest servant, Luren likely knew her better than anyone, so he asked, lately, the queen has been unusually attentive to me. Do you know why? Luren answered honestly. The queen is rather unpredictable, but she seems to have taken an interest in managing the harem. She's been focused on cleaning it up, so her sudden attention to my health, the mud asked slowly, is just a hobby. It might be. Luren replied cautiously. She finds purpose in it. I see. That's enough. Then he added, make sure she loses interest in the harem from now on. Yes, your majesty. But Luren hesitated, then added, actually, these days the queen has taken up gardening. She instructed one of the men in the harem to begin cultivating the palace her garden. That one sentence struck like lightning. What did you just say? The mud asked, frozen. She has a man from the harem working in the palace, Luren repeated. The emperor's calm vanished. There's still a man from the harem here, in the queen's palace. Meanwhile, in another part of the palace, 3 people sat slumped in exhaustion after working hard all day. Oh, my muscles. They're dying, groaned a chestnut-haired girl named Hay. The boy next to her, holding a teacup, was Taylor. Even though the work was tough, they were grateful. Hey, Taylor said with a grin, we could have ended up in a brothel. This is heaven compared to that. Saint, the third member, nodded. Yeah, I've got nothing but a decent face and handwriting. A pay job in a recession. We're lucky. Under Leah's care, the 3 of them had food, shelter, and peace. They smiled as they shared their thoughts. I joined the harem just for money, Saint admitted, but now honest labor doesn't seem so bad. Just as they were settling into their little moment of peace, a tall, shadowy figure loomed at the entrance. By the way, Hay whispered, hasn't the queen changed? She's been kind. She even stopped drinking, Taylor added. Then, bang, the door flew open with a loud crash. They all jumped to their feet in panic. The queen's palace. Hay shouted. Who? The figure stepped forward with an aura of pure wrath. They immediately recognized him. The emperor. Sion Bamud stood there, radiating menace. The 3 of them scrambled to bow, trembling. We greet your majesty. He didn't reply. He stepped closer, his voice low and cold. I suppose I delayed formally introducing myself to the palace servants. His eyes narrowed. So let me ask you, among you, who is the one who serves the queen? The room fell into silence. The 3 froze, unsure of how to answer. Can we even answer that? The 3 servants stood frozen. Not a word escaped their lips. Leah Sealights had given them strict orders. Don't reveal your identity, and don't say anything unnecessary in the palace. From now on, you're forbidden to disclose personal information. Now caught in a terrible dilemma, they didn't know what to do. Seek and risk the queen's wrath. Stay silent and risk the emperor's blade. Either way, death was on the table. Is this considered a personal matter? Should we stay quiet? But it's the emperor asking. What if saying the wrong thing also makes the queen angry? A terrifying thought surfaced in all their minds. Is confessing to the emperor, her highness's husband, basically the same as signing our own death warrant? Sion Bamud's patience snapped. His sword left its sheath in a flash and pointed coldly at them. If you keep silent, I'll execute each of you, one by one, starting from the left. His voice was terrifyingly calm, but his eyes were burning. He had to know everything. What did the queen whisper to you? Tell me, word for word. The 3 silently prayed for salvation. Please, queen, save us. Still receiving no answer, Bamud raised his sword slightly. Hay finally broke. Forget it. Let's just survive first. She told us to become independent. Hay blurted. We were relying too much on palace stipends, so she said from now on, if we don't work, we don't eat. Luren stood in the corner, pale and trembling. She didn't dare say a word. Surprisingly, Sion Bamud didn't strike. Instead, he lowered the sword slightly and questioned again, more softly this time. Do you know the queen's sleeping habits? Although none of them were Leah Sealight's official attendants, they had grown close to her in an odd, unexpected way. They hesitated. This felt dangerous, but the words slipped out. She usually frowns before bed, curses under her breath a bit, yawns a lot. There was one thing none of them mentioned, something Sion Bamud had no idea about. None of them had originally served the queen directly. It had all happened by accident. They were once told she'd choose the best among them to be her personal escort, but that opportunity had slipped away. Fortunately, someone had interfered, probably to save them. There's another side to her highness, one of them whispered. She locks herself in her room and drinks a lot. Gimme all the beer. Hay mimicked. Am I going to die for saying that? She panicked inside. After a long pause, the mud seemed to realize something. These 3 aren't bodyguards. They aren't hiding anything anymore. The suspicion in his eyes faded. He slowly sheathed his sword. Continue working. And without another word, he turned and walked away. The moment he left, the 3 of them collapsed into each other's arms, overwhelmed. We survived. The first thing Sion Bamud did was storm straight toward Leah's office. Where's the queen? He demanded. She's in her office. I'll take you, your majesty. But his thoughts were elsewhere. I don't think those 3 left a very good impression on her. Fine. Then let her explain it herself. He braced himself. Leah, if you pass this next test, I'll forget everything. I'll ignore all your suspicious behavior. Just as he approached the room, a man's voice echoed from within. You have to test it first. If it doesn't work, don't expect it to smell nice. What? Bamud's heart skipped a beat. He pushed the door open. Inside, Leah Sealights was laughing and chatting with a man he didn't recognize. He looks like his from the harem, but this one feels different. Closer. Too close. They were discussing something. Plans, outfits, even clothes. I think you should wear something long to cover your arms and legs, the man said. Sion Bamud froze. He even picks her clothes. The next moment, Leah turned and saw him. Your majesty, what are you doing here at this hour? Sion Bamud didn't answer. He simply drew his sword and pointed it at the man. Leah gasped. Your majesty. He couldn't bear to see her being this casual with another man, especially one from the harem. Identify yourself, he growled. But the man, calm and unfazed, bowed gracefully. I greet his majesty the emperor. I am Leo Castle, from the queen's harem. Sion Bamud's expression darkened. Why is someone from the harem in the queen's quarters without my permission? The tension was suffocating. Leah quickly stepped forward to shield Leo. I'm sorry, your majesty, but choosing my own subordinates is entirely within my rights. Her voice was gentle, too gentle, and that just made Bamud angrier. Why is she protecting him with that soft voice? voice. Jealousy clawed at his chest. What if you brought this man in to threaten me? He accused. Leah's eyes narrowed. What? Why would I do that? If you want, I'll kill him right now. His eyes shifted to what she was holding. Then, what's in your hand? Massage oil. She lied smoothly. In truth, it was a specially prepared endurance poison. But if he found out, it would all be over. She leaned in closer, voice soft and coaxing. I was planning to use it tonight for you. You said it helps you sleep when I massage your back. It worked barely. So why did he give it to you? Bamud asked, eyes narrowing again. He majored in pharmacology. I asked him to make things for me. Trying to cut the conversation short, she added firmly, Your Majesty, I think you're misunderstanding things. But Bamud snatched the bottle violently from her hands. If you need a pharmacist, I can hire another one for you. He turned to Leo, eyes like knives. You won't object if I fire him, right? No one dared say anything. Even the guards around them held their breath. Everyone feared that if Leah objected, she'd cry, and then Bamud would lose control. But to everyone's surprise, she simply said, Okay, what? To test her further, he asked, so you don't care if he dies? Her voice was calm. If Your Majesty, son of the Empire, decides it, I won't oppose it. For a long moment, Bamud stared at her. Then slowly, he sheathed his sword. Your Majesty, she asked softly. He looked at her with tired eyes. I think I have a headache. What? She blinked in surprise. A headache now? But she quickly gathered herself. I think it's too early for bed. How about tea instead? Before he could answer, she moved. I'll ask them to prepare it right away. Let's go. Then, as they walked together toward the tea room, she whispered discreetly to Leo behind her. Leave. If I protect you now, you'll die. Understand? Leo wasn't particularly shaken. All he needed was the money. Give me the money, he mouthed. She subtly nodded in agreement. Fine. Later, seated in the imperial garden, sipping tea in the fading afternoon sun, Leah gently placed a cup in front of him. You should have told me sooner that you had a headache. Bamud looked away. There's a reason for everything, he said quietly. I thought you were angry. You've been suffering these past few days, haven't you? Leah Sealights poured a steaming cup of tea and gently placed it before Sion Bamud. Here, drink. You'll feel more comfortable. Bamud accepted the cup and sat back in his chair with a strangely relaxed air. He took a slow sip, visibly calming. The servants who witnessed this unexpected tenderness couldn't help but whisper among themselves. His Majesty seems strange lately. I heard he almost executed the men from the harem. Right, but I didn't see any blood. Why did he spare them? Isn't that odd? He's not acting like his cold-blooded self anymore. I thought the Queen told him to kill them. No one could make sense of what was unfolding. Speculation ran rampant. Maybe His Majesty is testing the Queen. The harem damaged the royal family's reputation. Maybe he wants to see if she's really changed. But one sharp maid shook her head. You all missed the obvious. What? He's jealous. Jealous of that guy. Didn't you hear? He asked those men about the Queen's sleeping habits. That's not political. That's personal. Silence fell as the realization hit them. Slowly, heads began to nod. He didn't kill them because he figured out they weren't her lovers. Exactly. He wants to be the only one who truly knows the Queen. In the quiet garden nearby, Leah Sealight strolled among her plants. It was a small, enclosed sanctuary she had carefully nurtured, a place filled with her trusted poisonous herbs. This little garden, I built it myself, she murmured. It even smells different. She touched one of the delicate branches and winced. My fingers sting. But the pain wasn't only physical. Her thoughts had wandered back to yesterday's encounter. Will Leo take revenge on me for telling him to commit suicide as part of the plan? The incident had nearly gone off the rails. She had arranged everything carefully, but Bamud's sudden appearance had thrown her into chaos. Thankfully, her excuse had worked. Somehow, she managed to save Leo and herself. Now, Leo was officially a servant in the Queen's palace. That could have ended in disaster. Just then, a familiar voice made her stiffen. Your Majesty, Duke Cromwell Celeste. She turned, startled to find him there. Father. Even if she wasn't Leah by birth, this body remembered how to act, so she feigned ease. I'm fine, she said, masking her nerves. You can speak freely. Cromwell, ever calculating, dismissed the other servants. I have important things to discuss with my daughter. Once they were alone, he studied her carefully. You look well, despite rejecting my recent request. Leah forced a smile. Yes, I broke our agreement after that meeting. I felt unsafe. So I see. Then his eyes hardened. Why did I ever let you become queen? The weight in his words struck her. Every time she met him, she felt a growing discomfort in her chest. I don't ask for much, he said coolly. Just one meeting a month. Why does it hurt so much to hear him speak? We followed the arrangement, she replied, and you told me not to interfere further. He scoffed. In return, I let you enjoy the palace comforts, and now you betray me. I never asked for your luxuries, she thought bitterly. But outside, she wore the mask of a dutiful daughter. I have no interest in being close to you, she said flatly. Rest assured, I won't do anything to lose my position as queen. You may leave, father. She turned to walk away, but his next words froze her in place. Do you really think he'll love you? Her heart clenched. You're pathetic, Cromwell sneered. Just a doll pretending to feel. All you want is attention. Leah's fingers curled into fists. So this is what the original Leah endured. Tears burned in her eyes, but she didn't know why they fell. Why am I crying? But the pain only escalated. Suddenly, something seemed to constrict her throat, like an invisible rope tightening around her neck. I can't breathe. Her body trembled. Were these Leah's emotions? Her memories? Cromwell stood calm and cruel. You should have listened. This is your punishment for not completing the task. He wanted her to be a tool, a political thorn in the Emperor's side. A puppet. Get drunk, he hissed. Scream at the Emperor. Do as before. But Leah couldn't allow this anymore. She grabbed the medicine bottle from his hand and stumbled back. This was the cause of everything. This drug. He was drugging her to manipulate her behavior. She stared at him with disgust. You're not a father. You're a monster. But Cromwell grabbed the bottle back and sneered. Now you understand. You'll keep your promise, won't you, Queen? She felt sick. I won't let him control me again. Suddenly, she acted. Now, pay the price for your actions. She struck at him, but Cromwell grabbed her wrist mid-motion. He was still too quick. If you want my attention, he growled, then give birth to an heir. To him, she was nothing but a womb, a tool to consolidate his power. But just then, without warning, someone else struck Cromwell from behind. He stumbled. Leah lost her balance and fell, but strong arms caught her just in time. Sion bemud. He stared down at her, then up at Cromwell, his expression cold. This is not the place, he said, voice laced with steel, for you to show your true nature. Despite his actions, Cromwell bowed calmly. I greet His Majesty the Emperor. But Bemud didn't hide his suspicion. You came here to discuss trade, so why are you in the Queen's private garden? I hadn't seen my daughter in a while, Cromwell said smoothly. Forgive me. Sion Bemud stared him down. She's not your daughter. She's the Queen. Seeing how tense the situation was, stretched tight like a bowstring, Cromwell didn't intend to linger. I've made a mistake, he said curtly. I hope your Majesty and the Queen will forgive me. If you understand, then I will take my leave now. Leah Sealights let out a silent breath of relief. Her heart fluttered. Finally, her devotion was being reciprocated. All her efforts to care for Sion Bemud had not been in vain. Before she could even fully process his words, Bemud swept her into his arms. Your Majesty, be quiet. Her cheeks flushed crimson. He put me down. This is too much. But Sion Bemud ignored her protests and carried her all the way to her bedchamber. Once there, the maids quickly changed her into comfortable clothes while Bemud personally poured her a cup of water and handed it to her. Drink. He was treating her like a fragile patient. She blinked, confused. Why are you doing this? I'm not sick, you know. Seeing the deep concern in his eyes, she smiled reassuringly. Your Majesty, I'm really okay. The Duke's words didn't affect me because I'm not the real Leah, she thought. His words can't reach me. After making sure she was settled, Bemud climbed into the bed beside her and pulled the blanket up. Sleep. It's early. You talk too much. Though he sounded grumpy, she knew it was his way of showing affection. Since you protected me today, she muttered, snuggling under the blanket, I'll let it slide. Exhausted from the day's turmoil, she quickly fell asleep. The room was silent, save for the soft breathing of the Queen. Sion Bemud remained awake, simply watching her. The lack of her usual chatter made the room feel oddly empty. He studied her sleeping face. She's frowning again. Is it a habit or a nightmare? Quietly, he lifted her into his arms, holding her close in hopes of easing her restlessness. The next morning, Leah rushed to find Merrin. After seeing Duke Celeste yesterday, my body started to feel strange, she confessed. Before her debut as Queen, she had undergone meticulous medical examinations, even hiring an alchemist to double-check everything. But now, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She held the new diagnostic report in her hand, confused. It's strange. She showed it to Leo Castle as well, but he couldn't find anything suspicious. Even after a blood test, there's no reaction, he said. You haven't been poisoned. Yet she remembered the sensation of being strangled the day before. No illness, no injury, but undeniable pain. Then what was it? She asked. When I was in front of him, I couldn't breathe. Leo considered her carefully. In cases like this, there's usually only one explanation. It's not poison, it's alchemy. Alchemy, she blinked. Isn't that just turning stones into gold? He stared at her, aghast. What era are you from? Seeing her wide-eyed innocence, Leo sighed and began explaining. Modern alchemy includes metallurgy, manufacturing, astronomy, and yes, magic. And no, don't laugh. Alchemy isn't simple. It defies logic. It's a set of laws science can't fully explain. Magic, Leo repeated slowly. Yes, the origin of magic lies in a substance called mana. Since mana vanished from nature, magic was created to replicate it. Simply put, magic is the act of wishing, and to make it work, there must be a living being to channel that wish. Her eyes widened. So, are you saying my symptoms are related to magic? Leo nodded gravely. If conventional medicine and pharmacology can't explain it, it usually means something magical is involved. Disgust flickered across her face. So Cromwell even resorted to magic. She shuddered. Is trying to kill me. I doubt it, Leo said calmly. The magical medium must stay alive to channel the wish. If the medium you dies, the spell fails. Leah's expression darkened. He doesn't want me dead. He wants me pregnant. She exhaled shakily. I guess it makes sense. He's only ever seen me as a tool. Leo's voice was soft. I don't expect family love from that man either. But we need to confirm this. We have to find out what kind of magic it is, she said. Suddenly, she remembered the medicine bottle Cromwell gave her. That bottle. It suppresses the effects of the magic, doesn't it? Can you analyze it using my blood? Leo frowned. It would be easier after you ingest it. Blood samples alone won't help much. She scowled. What kind of expert are you? He glared. Didn't I just explain? It's not basic chemistry. She sighed, then muttered under her breath. Ua, you're too good looking. It's distracting. Leo arched a brow. You don't get this antidote for free. You know, you owe me something. Fine, she grumbled. You want a gift? A valuable one. With a dramatic sigh, she handed him a pearl necklace. You're too sharp. How do you know I keep emergency jewelry? He smirked. Because I know you. Finally, after all the preparation, he handed her a tiny bottle. This is the complete antidote. Are you sure it works? Try it yourself if you don't trust me. No, you drink it first. Without hesitation, Leo downed the liquid. The initial toxin is mild, he said. You'll need to use the antidote regularly as more ingredients build up in your system. So far, so good, he added with a shrug. Still alive. Leah looked suspiciously at the remaining liquid. What did you say the key ingredient was again? Leo gave her a crooked smile. Human hair. She froze. What? He raised his hands in defense. My hair. Hair stores toxins expelled from the body. I extracted them to create the antidote. It's completely safe. She stared at the bottle, unsure whether to be impressed, horrified, or both. The complete antidote required a variety of toxin samples, ones that were nearly impossible to collect through cultivation alone. Although Leo Castle's method of extraction minimized the toxicity, it was still far safer than sourcing raw materials directly from nature. Now that he had earned Leah Sealight's trust, he made a bold request. We'll need more hair samples from as many people as possible. Leah frowned. How much hair are we talking about? When he didn't respond directly, she narrowed her eyes. Can't we just collect some from the palace servants? Leo shook his head. They all live in the same environment. Their toxin profiles will be too similar. What we need is uniqueness, and that can only come from nobles. They've grown up in more diverse conditions, and many have been exposed to low doses of toxins since childhood as part of their training. She scowled. And how exactly do you expect me to get noble hair? I'm not about to walk around snipping off their heads. Leo only smiled cryptically. That's for the queen to figure out. Reluctantly, Leah sighed and picked up the medicine bottle. I can't handle strong toxins yet, so I'll need to increase the dosage slowly, bit by bit. Let's start with step 1, she murmured and took a sip. To her surprise, it was sweet. It's delicious. Leo raised an eyebrow. Everything has its price. The two of them stood in front of the mirror, silently waiting. Then suddenly, Leo doubled over, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. No, Lindo, your blood. Panic shot through her. Is it because of the antidote? Leo calmly wiped his mouth and reassured her. It's fine. Coughing blood is part of the process. The body reacts to the toxins. It's not dangerous. See, there's even a documented case. He showed her a medical reference, and Leah gave a hesitant nod. Okay, I understand. But a moment later, she too felt a strange tightness in her chest. Blood appeared on her lips. She wasn't as shocked now, just unsettled. It's like being slightly injured. Grabbing a towel, she wiped it away quickly. If anyone sees me like this, they'll think I have some terminal illness. From now on, I'd better take this antidote alone. Meanwhile, back at his residence, Cromwell was being scolded by his superior. You're slow, hissed the disembodied voice of the red orb. I'm sorry. Cromwell bowed. Something unexpected happened. The orb pulsed ominously. Is that all you have to say? Desperate to redeem himself, Cromwell declared, I'll modify the plan and execute it immediately. I swear, this time it will succeed. The orb considered his words, then floated higher. I believe in you, it said coldly. But remember, the reward comes only when you've given everything. Try harder, or die trying. And with that, the red orb vanished into thin air. Wasting no time, Cromwell summoned a second orb. Its surface glowed with eerie energy, and it responded to his command. Yes, Duke. Together, man and magic began weaving a new, darker conspiracy. Back at the palace, Leah Sealights was dealing with her own miseries. I can't believe I'm collecting hair for medicine, she muttered, comb in hand. She had tried everything, combing the hair of noble daughters, bribing servants, even chasing down reluctant ladies-in-waiting. But the amount collected was pitiful. This is all I could get. Leo Castle frowned. We need more. Leah groaned. You think this is easy? You try asking people for hair without looking insane. Leo shrugged. Then ask His Majesty. Ask what? To help, he said, as if it were obvious. She stared at him, horrified. You want me to ask Sion Bamud to help me collect hair? I'd rather pull out my own. But after a moment, an idea struck her. Wait, I don't have to explain everything. I just need him to host a party. The next day, Leah visited the Emperor with purpose. The two of them were sitting closer than ever, sharing lunch. She picked up a piece of broccoli and held it out to him. You should eat more vegetables. For a man feared across the empire, Sion Bamud was surprisingly obedient in front of her. Your Majesty, she said sweetly. Do you like parties? I hate them. Without missing a beat, she replied. Let's hold one. He blinked. I just said I hate them. That's exactly why we should do it. She gave him her most convincing smile. You'll see, it'll be fun. We can even celebrate our wedding anniversary. We've only been married 3 months. That failed, so she quickly switched tactics. Then how about a bet? He raised an eyebrow. Bet what? At her signal, the maids entered, rolling in carts stacked with cakes and bottles of chilled red wine. Leah picked up a bottle and poured 2 glasses. A drinking bet, she said. He stared at her blankly. Whoever gets drunk first has to do whatever the winner says. Sound good? Rumors claimed that Leah could drink wine instead of water. She had quite the reputation. But the Emperor, she had never seen him drink. She smirked, hoping to provoke him. You're not scared, are you? He didn't answer. You don't even know how good this wine is. Right, Your Majesty. Finally, he reached for the glass. Got him. An hour later, Leah realized she'd made a fatal error. I am not drunk, she insisted, wobbling. She could barely keep her eyes open, but Sion Bamud looked completely fine. Drink more, he said, pouring another glass. Why do I have to do that? Unbelievable, she thought. He's not human. His liver must be forged from iron. But she couldn't give up, not yet. Your Majesty, she slurred. Aren't you sleepy? I bet you're sleepy. He raised an eyebrow. Meanwhile, her head was spinning. The world tilted. His words sounded distant. She couldn't tell what he was saying anymore. What is he saying now? And with that, the room faded to black. Everything around Leah Sealights blurred, swirling into confusion. No, I can't give up like this. Even as her balance faltered and her thoughts clouded, she clenched her jaw in defiance. Give me one more chance, she slurred, reaching for her glass. Then, we'll only be 5 glasses apart. Sion Bamud raised an eyebrow. Why would that matter? Still, she gulped down another sip and promptly slammed the glass down. It's unfair, she muttered, then suddenly, without warning, leaned into his arms. Come on, she whispered, face near his ear. Your Majesty, do you know? Sion waited patiently, curious about where she was heading with this. I have something to tell you, she breathed, her voice sultry. But then came the words that made his ears turn red. Tonight, on the bed. Before she could finish, he quickly clamped a hand over her mouth. What are you saying? He hissed, flustered. But Leah wouldn't be silenced. Why? What's wrong? You know that when we're together at night. Stop. His voice was sharp, but his face was beet red. The servants were still nearby. This was no place for such talk. Every night, when I lie next to you, watching you sleep, she began again, her gaze soft and loving. Sion's eyes widened. The next morning dawned bright and golden, sunlight streaming into a luxurious chamber. Leah Sealights stirred, her body sluggish. Her head throbbed. What did I do yesterday? She sat up, surrounded by fountains and flowers, with attendants massaging her shoulders. Everything was too perfect. Okay, deep breath. I drank with the Emperor. That much I remember. But when did the wine spill? She recalled fragments, his sleeping face, her affectionate musings. Do you know, you look unserious even when you sleep, she remembered telling him, giggling. Sion had frozen at her words, speechless. Now, the memory made her cover her flushed face. Oh no, did I say that out loud? And then, more fragments. Him darkly swirling the last of the wine in the bottle. Her reaching for it like a spoiled child. Come on, let me drink more. Go back to your room, he said curtly. She pouted. Are you ignoring me now? He gently poked her forehead. You drank so much your lips are stained red, and you still want more? In a haze, she'd mumbled. Then why do you call me you all the time? Can't you start calling me by my name? Her voice, soft as silk, echoed in her head. I really like it when you call me Leah. He had stared at her, stunned. She leaned against him with flushed cheeks, holding the bottle tightly. Finally, he lost control and snatched it away, downing the rest himself. Stop talking nonsense. She collapsed on the table, dizzy and drunk, still begging. Can we have a ball, please? He'd narrowed his eyes. You're the one who's drunk, and you lost the bet. Why should I honor your wish? But Leah wasn't giving up. She chased him around the room, pleading dramatically. If you don't, I won't let you sleep. I'll cancel your snacks. She threw her arms around his neck, whispering, please, just 5 seconds. Can't you stop for 5 seconds? Wait, what are you doing? He said, eyes wide. Suddenly, rewind. Wait, what was that? Back in the present, Leah clutched her pounding head, shouting, why can't I remember what happened next? She stood up abruptly and crashed her head into a servant's chin. Oh, sorry, what happened yesterday? The maid staggered back, clutching her face. Leah blinked. I feel so bad. Sit down and rest. It's okay, Your Majesty. I don't dare. No, really, sit, Leah insisted. Finally, the maid obeyed. Leah glanced at the bump on the girl's chin. Oh no, it's swelling. I'll send ointment and medicine. The girl was stunned. Thank you, Your Majesty. A tear rolled down her cheek. Leah smiled faintly. What's your name? Sarah. Leah tilted her head. You've been doing a lot of night shifts lately, haven't you? Sarah gasped. How do you even know my name? I see you every day. Of course I know. Sarah's voice trembled. I am sorry for worrying you. There's just been so much going on. Leah handed her a small blue medicine box. Here, it helps with fatigue. Share it with anyone who needs it. Sarah clutched the box, overwhelmed. Thank you. Leah gently examined her cheek. That bruise looks worse. I'll send better recovery balm later. Sarah was speechless. So this is the queen. Though she'd only been a maid for 2 weeks, Sarah had expected a cold, cruel woman. That's what all the rumors said, that the queen was unbearable, that maids fled the palace because of her. But now, Sarah's heart pounded with emotion. She's nothing like they say. She's warm. Wiping her tears, she stammered, Your Majesty, I was terrified because of the rumors, but you're kind to us. Truly. Another maid nodded. We'll do our best to serve you. You can trust us. Leah smiled, moved. They misunderstood, but it's still nice to be trusted. Still, she had other concerns. I was hoping someone would mention what happened last night. She shook off the thought. Well, allies are allies. Let's call it progress. She asked casually. Say, if I want to get something from the Emperor, what should I do? The maids lit up. Is it because of the bet? You should keep trying. Leah's heart filled with renewed confidence. Yes, persistence is everything. Let's go. Just then, Sion Bamud passed by. Good morning, Your Majesty, she called brightly, waving, but he simply turned and walked away without a word. Where's he going? Her heart jumped. Wait, that action. Does he do that to everyone? Suddenly her face flushed, her skin tingling like a current passed through her. What was that memory just now? Panic bubbled up. What if I said something terrible last night? Like, we're both going to die in 2 years. She froze, hand on her cheek. Did I accidentally reveal a heavenly secret? Leah paced, anxiety bubbling inside her. What if he thinks I'm crazy and starts avoiding me? She groaned, half to herself, half to the servants nearby. Did I say something strange to the Emperor last night while I was drunk? I was already a troublemaker, she muttered bitterly. Basically a stalker. What if rumors spread again because I said something ambiguous? The servant beside her gently replied, That's impossible, Your Majesty. Even if something happened, we wouldn't stand by and do nothing. They smiled brightly. Everyone really likes you. You're very lovely, so it'll be okay. Leah's heart warmed. It's good to know they're standing on my side. She smiled playfully. Just make sure you really do protect me, okay? Of course, they chimed. As the maids left, all in a cheerful mood, another person entered. The atmosphere shifted instantly. You can't ask us to do that, Your Majesty, said the woman with a serious face. Giving such an order might make people think you're manipulating them into becoming allies. Leah blinked. Who is this person? The woman continued, visibly anxious. Please reconsider. If the maids misunderstand your intention, it could be seen as harassment. Leah stared at her carefully. This person. She narrowed her eyes, then suddenly remembered. Eloise. She mentally ran through the family tree. Father is Cromwell Celeste, eldest son of the Duke. His younger brother is Louis, who inherited the title of Earl Inolle, and the girl in front of her was none other than Eloise Inolle, her cousin. We were born on the same day. Our mothers died giving birth to us, and everyone used to say we looked so alike we could be twins. Leah offered her a seat. Eloise, sit here. Eloise bowed politely and sat down, wringing her hands nervously. I feel terrible when people call you a rebel, a stalker, or a witch. Leah paused. Wait, witch? Since when did that nickname appear? She sighed. I'm going to need a collection bin for all these titles soon. Eloise tried to smile sympathetically. I understand. That's why I want to help you. Leah looked at her, curious. How? Eloise took her hand and offered gently. You should publicly announce your repentance. Maybe even serve in the temple for a while. It would improve your image. Leah's expression sharpened. Eloise. Her voice was calm, but direct. First of all, I didn't manipulate the maids. They're not mindless tools. Eloise linked. What? And if any false rumors spread about me, they'll stand up to defend me, not because I told them to, but because they believe in me. Leah leaned back. If I do what you suggest, I'd be publicly declaring the queen of this country is a failure. Do you think that's wise? Eloise trembled, then burst into tears. I'm sorry. I didn't think it through. Leah was slightly caught off guard. It's okay. I know you meant well, but something still felt off. She's crying over that. That's suspicious. Then, another visitor entered. Eloise's father. Father, she said, standing. The man bowed respectfully. Greetings to Her Majesty. I am Louis Inolle. Leah stared. So this is Uncle Louis. Father's Leah's younger brother. They're so different, it's hard to believe they're related. She felt suddenly awkward. To anyone walking in right now, it must look like I bullied my poor cousin to tears. Louis broke the tension. It seems my daughter may have caused some distress. I apologize. His voice was refined and gentle. I've been troubled by the rumors about you recently, Your Majesty. If I have ever said anything inappropriate in the past, I ask your forgiveness. Leah blinked. Wait, you're apologizing? I thought you'd accuse me. This is too smooth. But his eyes were clear and steady. She stood slowly. No need. I'm happy to see you again after so long. Still, why are you being so kind? Isn't there some hidden agenda? Feeling unsettled, she smiled and gave a polite excuse. I should be going. I have work to do. I hope we meet again, Your Majesty, Louis replied, bowing. As she walked away, her hair catching the light, she glanced over her shoulder. For a moment, Louis's expression changed, just slightly. Outside the palace, Leah muttered, I'm so jealous. Eloise has such a warm father. Then she smirked. But it's okay. I have a Black Panther. That's enough. Suddenly, she gasped. I'm going to be late. A mischievous glint lit up her face. Should I go hunt that Black Panther who ran off earlier? In Sion Bermud's office, he sat alone in a vast, luxurious office. The heavy door behind him creaked. His eyes narrowed. Who dares? Suddenly, a golden key slid into the lock. Leah's voice rang out, sultry and triumphant. I've been waiting for you, Your Majesty. Sion jumped back instinctively. His eyes darted toward the window. Your Majesty, are you trying to escape? She cried, amused. We're on the 3rd floor. I was just opening the window, he said stiffly. It's hot, but it's autumn. It gets cold when the sun sets. Her tone was teasing. She walked toward him and wrapped her arm gently around his. Come here. Don't run away. Have you had dinner? She reached for the wine bottle. He quickly snatched the wine glass and covered its rim. You shouldn't drink alcohol. She tilted her head. Did I bother you yesterday? His expression grew serious. What do you remember? Not much, she admitted. Then her eyes lit up. Oh, you said you'd reconsider the dance. He rolled his eyes, stealing the bottle. You only remember what's useful to you. He poured wine slowly. So you remember that, but not my name. What name? She asked innocently. Last night, he said pointedly. You asked me to call you by your name. Oh right, she chirped. Then call me Leah. But you can't call me by name. Leah blushed. But I'm not allowed to call Your Majesty by name. He leaned back, amused. Yesterday, you did it naturally. She coughed. Okay. So, can I ask something? He raised an eyebrow. Why don't you like parties? His gaze darkened. Because, he murmured, I don't have many good memories. A long pause. He stared into the wine. From childhood until now, my life has always been unpleasant. He suddenly spoke, his voice low and heavy with sadness. I don't have any special memories from my childhood. Nothing but the same painful moments repeating over and over. Leah's eyes widened in surprise as she looked at him, trying to piece together the fragments of his past. The last ball I remember was during the coronation ceremony, she murmured. I don't recall the details clearly. She moved closer and whispered, please, tell me what happened. Maybe I can help. Sion's reply stunned her. You must have seen it yourself at the coronation. Leah scratched her head sheepishly. I was too drunk. I lost parts of my memory. Before she could reach for the wine again, Sion quickly covered the glass. When will this happen again? He asked sternly. You should be the one taking care of your health, not me. Leah gently pushed his hand away, smiling. Sion, you're the one who should take care of your health. He looked confused for a moment, then she nodded obediently. Okay, I'll eat my broccoli properly. He raised an eyebrow. Broccoli? Why? What's wrong? She teased. He poured wine slowly into his glass, then sighed. It's hard to explain. His gaze drifted away, distant and sad. I was never taught how to understand my emotions. Joy, sadness. There was a rumor, a prophecy, that an emperor who shows emotions will bring ruin to the empire. Sion's voice grew cold with the weight of his childhood. My father believed in that prophecy. He raised me with strict discipline, convinced that I was destined to be a beast, not a ruler. War and the arena were more fitting for me, he continued bitterly, than courtly events. Suddenly, the grand hall echoed with greetings. I greet His Majesty, the Emperor. The coronation banquet bustled with dancers and musicians. Sparkling lights filled the room, but Sion hated every moment. The noise pounded in his head, unbearable. Trying to endure, he prepared to leave, but then someone grabbed his hand, stopping him. He felt dizzy from the headache, overwhelmed. In his panic, he overreacted, trying to break free. That's when the accusations began. Why did Your Majesty try to kill that child? He shook them off, but the hateful words kept coming. How can Your Majesty be so cruel? Sion's hands clenched, veins bulging as anger threatened to boil over. Be careful, or you might die by His Majesty's own hand if he loses control, people whispered. The rumors grew darker, louder. He's a tyrant, a bloodthirsty monster. They say he's lived so long on the battlefield that he can't survive without spilling blood. His cold expression hides a ravenous bloodlust. A bold label burned in his mind. Tyrant. Sion closed his eyes and accepted it. Once that name stuck, no one would bother him anymore. That's why I won't hold a ball, he said quietly. Leah snorted softly, then reached out to take his cold hand in hers. It's okay, she whispered. I'm by your side now. She gently caressed his hand, then placed it against her cheek. If you can't feel emotions or find them hard to understand, I'll teach you. Leah smiled softly. The coronation ball was just an accident. It's no one's fault. Their hands intertwined, warmth flowing between them. I'll help you, so you won't get hurt or make mistakes again. Sion said nothing, but thought to himself, I'm definitely not drunk. Still, a strange discomfort gnawed at his stomach. Leah's eyes sparkled as she pleaded. Sion, you'll hold a ball for me, right? He shook his head firmly. No. Before he could say more, Leah surprised him with a kiss that made him freeze. No matter what you say, I won't hold a ball, he declared as the kiss ended. Leah rubbed her nose against his chin, smiling mischievously. You will hold it, right? He touched his chin, feeling the odd flutter in his chest. Oh no, he thought, it's coming back. The vivid memories of last night replayed, both beautiful and embarrassing. Sion, can't we hold a ball? She whispered, her voice thick and pleading. She'd been too drunk to stand straight, but her voice lingered clearly in his ear. Please, Sion, otherwise I won't let you sleep from now on. Sion found her persistence amusing. Her sweet tone made him smile despite himself. Fine, he said, I'll just keep responding every time. Wide-eyed, he asked, what are you doing now? Leah grinned and kissed him again, pouting. Moa Tilda please, I beg you. His face stiffened. Do you act like this with everyone? No, not at all, she said, sweet as sugar, only because you're cute. Back in the present, she called his name softly. Are you going to go? Sion rubbed his head irritably. Correct your drinking habits. The quiet night stretched on. Faint starlight filtered through the window. Two figures lay together in a large bed, their love quietly unfolding. Leah leaned against him, sharing stories from her teenage years before sleep. Her plump lips moved non-stop while Sion listened silently, skeptical. She doesn't remember the kiss, does she? He wondered. She suddenly called his name again. I'm going to try something new, she whispered. Leah lay down fully, turning her face toward him. Are you asleep? She smiled slyly, then had an idea. Should I comb your hair? Massaging your scalp might help you sleep better. Evil thoughts spun in her head. And maybe I can get some hair for the antidote. Sion hesitated, then nodded slowly. That'll help me sleep better, right? Of course, Leah confirmed quickly, hiding any doubts. She sat up, holding a comb, ready to begin. Sion, still restless from their conversation, watched her carefully. Her lips moved softly as she combed his thick black hair. He found himself drawn to her, eyes fixed on her lips. Leah giggled playfully. I guess I'll be staring at your lips if this keeps up. She set a condition. If you let me attend the ball, I'll show you new things today. Finally, Sion gave a quiet, reluctant agreement. If I can sleep early, I'm willing to do anything. Leah's eyes sparkled. Really? You won't take it back? He shrugged. She twirled happily. Thank you. It'll be so much fun. I'll comb your hair from behind too. Turn around. Sion sighed in relief. I'm at ease now. After hearing his story, Leah had been worried when she couldn't remember much, but it seems I didn't make any mistakes. She smiled, a little mischievous. She'd succeeded. Sion's hair and everything else was going according to plan. The bottle of antidote sat close by. A single strand of the Emperor's hair contained powerful memories and perhaps dangerous toxins. Leah gently asked, concerned, how does it feel when I comb like this? Is it okay? She showed him the comb, still new but one she had liked so much she bought it herself. Sion's eyes met hers. Did you think about me? He asked quietly. Leah blushed but didn't deny it. Yes, I do these things only because of you, Sion. The comb slid through his thick black hair as he pondered. It's a strange ritual, he said finally. Forget it for now. Tell me something interesting. Leah smiled, leading the conversation forward. Sion, do you know the taste of winter? The scent that arrives when autumn turns to winter. That's my favorite time of year. Sion said nothing, quietly listening.